A very, very important video that I'm making here for anyone that's aspiring to do something more, particularly in trading. You want to become a successful trader. You want to pay your bills on your own terms. And you just want to achieve something, right? So for background on me, before I start speaking and give you my 5 points on what personally changed my life forever in my trading and brought me to success. I'm 22 years old. I've been trading for over 5 years now. Learned many lessons in between. I've achieved 6 figures in all-time profits inside of the markets, particularly mostly from NASDAQ and ES. And for over 2 years now, I have built a community of consistent, self-sustainable, successful traders, over 1,500 of us in the group now, and growing. So the first point that I want to be talking about, again, I'm going to be talking about 5 points that truly just changed everything for me, really. And this one's going to sound super simple, but it really worked wonders and kind of like jump-started me into, everything that I've done. And that is, the first no of the day is always the most important. Let me say that again. The first no of the day is the most important. And what do I mean by this? For example, the unsuccessful version of myself that really didn't have anything going other than, working a job, whatever. I would immediately wake up, roll over, get on my phone, spend my first hour just scrolling, doing whatever nonsense, just staring at my phone. Now, you fast forward to when I truly, again, kickstarted my career. I realized how crucial discipline in those small little areas is so crucial and really does count. So, for example, every single morning when I woke up after that, I realized that rolling over, getting on my phone, scrolling, that was the worst possible way that I could have started out my morning. And what I'm doing is I'm setting the stage to have an unproductive, lazy, just not a great day. Once I started with this, there was one day where I put my foot down. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of waking up the same way. I want to get up motivated. I want to wake up hungry. I want to wake up and just do productive shit. The day that I got up and I didn't succumb to bad habits, and I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to roll over. I'm not going to pick up my phone and scroll for an hour and then start my day and whatever else. I got up, immediately just jumped out of bed, immediately went into a cold shower, and then started my day. And let me tell you, the day that I did that and said no, started everything for me. It sounds so like oversimplistic and just like, oh, come on now, really? But it really is true. Small stuff like that, once I started putting my foot down, once I truly became disciplined, once I started saying no, that's when I began to achieve significant things. So again, the first no of the day is always the most important. And that particular example that I gave you about rolling out of bed and getting immediately on my phone, that was a perfect example of that. It can be anything. It's something small, anything else. The first no of the day is always the most important, as this will set the stage for you to do other great things and be disciplined in other areas, therefore flourish in your business and do well. Moving on to point number 2. Start with small steps to then build your way up to that large goal. And what I mean by this is, again, it's a very simple thing, but it simply just worked for me. Like, it worked tremendously, and it's something that changed me forever and led to my success in trading and consistency. Every single time I would set out a goal for myself, it would immediately be overwhelming because I was just always setting my goals high, right? It would be overwhelming, and it was so overwhelming that I would never even take action at all. But again, fast forward to the successful version of myself, what I started doing was not overwhelming myself, not immediately trying to get in and seek instant gratification and immediately, achieve my goals in like 1 week or whatever. What I did is I set small goals for myself. So let's say, for example, I wanted to gain more knowledge and start reading books, which is what I wanted to do, but I never brought myself to read books because I was just too lazy to do it, because I just wasn't disciplined enough. So what I started doing is that one day I decided, I was like, all right, you know what? I don't need to, read one book in 1 month. Let me just start off and let me read 1 page per day. Just one page. And then once I kind of got my foot through the door, right, and just got my feet wet a little bit and read that first page, that kind of just jump started, me eventually reading the entire book, right? Once I got my feet wet, it was much, much easier, much more calming, and just better experience going after that goal. And it didn't feel like some tedious task. Just 1 page per day. So doing small little steps each and every day, they add up. Okay, so the thing is, and the main point that I'm making here, and what really, really worked wonders for me, and again, a small habit that brought me to the success that you see, is not trying to rush to achieve everything right away. Just simply put in the work every single day, do that task every single day, no matter how small it is, and let time do the heavy lifting for you. And once I realized this, again, things just changed. They really, really changed drastically for the better. So again, do the small steps, all right? Work towards your goals each and every day. At least do one thing to better yourself each and every day, and let time do the heavy lifting. Don't overwhelm yourself. Step number 3, probably going to sound overly simple, but again, I'm just speaking from personal experience. Very, very powerful once again. And that is going to be just simply believing in yourself. You have to be completely aware of the power in your words and thoughts, because they are way, 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 way more powerful than you actually think. Now, I'm not going to get on here and tell you to go in the mirror and recite, I am successful, 100 times, because that's not what I did. I wasn't like, oh, I'm manifesting. But what I do understand is that your thoughts and your words often shape and form your reality. So again, let me give you an example that's personal to my situation and what worked for me. Back then, I used to not really think that, I would see all these guys doing amazing things on social media, in the news, whatever. They were just achieving great things. And I would always think, wow, that guy got lucky. There's no way I would ever be able to do that. And the celebrity worship, thinking that they're above us. And once I threw all that stuff to the side and just started looking up to myself, believing in myself, and started speaking words of encouragement towards myself, positivity, speaking like I'm just already a successful, significant person, right? Never speaking the negatives, never making light of myself. Once I truly implemented that, again, it just sounds like kind of silly, but it worked wonders. The power was crazy. Once I changed my words and my thoughts and started thinking about, what's right? What's the good things about me? What happens if I do this, and what can go right if I take action on that? Instead of, what if this happens, then this can go wrong, and this can go wrong, and what if I fail, and what if this happens? It's a complete paradigm shift when you stop prioritizing negative thoughts, having disbelief in yourself, and completely turning the tables, thinking positively, speaking only words of encouragement and positivity. And by doing that, you can complete any task in the world that you want. All right, moving on to point number 4. And again, another simple thing that worked wonders for me and brought me to where I am now is eliminating any and every addiction that you can possibly be, a part of your journey right now. I had a major phone addiction back in the early 2020s, and it would really just block my blessings. It would make me procrastinate. It would be much, much harder to get tasks done consistently and finish them. And it got to a point where I eventually just realized from experience that being attached to anything in any way is never a positive thing whatsoever. In fact, you need to take massive action on eliminating anything and everything that you could possibly be addicted to. I don't care if it's gambling, if it's, the phone addiction, if it's whatever it is. If it's not serving you a purpose, it has to go. And I've heard this from many, many people in the past that I would look up to, and it really resonated with me. If it's not serving you a purpose, it must go. And don't get me wrong, it's easier said than done. But it just comes down to what's your willpower. How bad do you truly want it? And I told myself, I want this shit bad. My phone is not serving me a purpose whatsoever. My phone addiction, it's dragging me down, blocking my blessings. And I wanted it so bad. So what did I do? Did I mope, complain about it, say, oh, I can't do this because of this? I put the damn phone down, and I got to work. Granted, it took about a month or so to completely correct it. But again, doing the small steps, doing at least one thing every single day that's going to help you get towards and closer to your goals, and letting time do the heavy lifting, that principle that I already spoke about in this video helped me get past this phone addiction. All right, and point number 5 and final, and certainly not last, is changing my perspective completely surrounding failure. Growing up, you know, especially in America and the school systems, whatever, you're always conditioned in the same thing surrounding failure. Failure is a bad thing. You can't do this wrong. You have to be perfect. You have to get this right. You have to be a good boy and go to college and never break the rules. All that is wrong. We all have the wrong idea about failure. And once I finally realized this by a book that I read and implementing it in my own life, failure is not the enemy. It is not a bad thing. Only if you react poorly to it and view it as a bad thing, it will be a bad thing. But let me give you a mindset shift here that changed my life and my trading journey completely and entirely. Like, completely changed it. It's simply changing my viewpoint from viewing failure as a bad thing that we should avoid into a positive thing. A thing and a tool that we use to better ourselves, learn what we can do better, and it paints a picture on how we can level up. So once I realized this, what I started to do is just go for it. Take risks that I'm willing to take. Fail quickly. Fail. Get used to it. Journal what you learned from those failures. Use it as fuel. Use it as a means to better yourself and better your business, whatever it is. And once I started doing this, again, things changed for me just so quickly. Like, it was insane. I'm blessed to have gained that knowledge and gained that perspective and mindset and paradigm shift. And that's why I'm hoping you guys can do that as well by watching this video. So the main point that I'm trying to get across here regarding failure is fail. Get out there. You're going to fall on your face. You're going to fail over and over and over again. Get comfortable with it. Get used to it, because that is exactly what's going to make you succeed. And growing up, I simply just realized, especially in the last 5 years, not one successful person, aside from someone that got, something handed to them or whatever, not one successful person that achieved something significant didn't go through failure. So again, in conclusion, change your perspective regarding failure. Stop viewing it as a bad thing. Stop walking on eggshells and being scared to fail. Take that risk, own your confidence, and just simply believe that you can do it. So yes, these were the 5 points that simply just changed my life. This is personal to me. It could be different for someone else, but this is what worked for me. I hope you guys got some insights out of this, and I hope a lot of you can maybe change your lives by implementing this as well. And until next time, see you guys then. God bless.